Well, with Boris Johnson due to give testimony within the next sort of couple of hours, I was expecting a lot of crazy things to come out. I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting a lot of crazy things. Not only that, but Johnson's even initial performance as well. There's a lot of people going out saying that, oh, Johnson's going to come forward and be like really conciliatory, that he's going to say sorry. Well, sorry's too late. And especially when we have had witness after witness after witness, all these statements, all these diaries of all the chaos going on in number 10. And at no point, did Boris Johnson at any point offer any solutions to try and solve this or to make things a little bit more easier. But instead, we had a department, the most important office in the land, in an absolute state of pure chaos. And when this module eventually, when this module eventually finishes and we finally get the summing up of this particular module, I fully expect them to this summing up to take quite a while. Normally, I think it's been 2 to 3 months before we've had a review of these particular modules. I think this one might take a lot longer because I'll tell you now, you've got a lot of stuff to detangle and de-sort through. But oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, a lot of stuff indeed. But I was not expecting this. The last thing I was expecting was that Boris Johnson was prepared to go to war. And I am not making this up. According to some of the sources that have been revealed through the COVID inquiry, Boris Johnson was prepared to go to war against the Netherlands to get vaccines. I am not making this up. This is a real thing that actually happened that has been recovered from these COVID inquiries. So, let's go find out about this piece of crazy madness that almost happened. So yeah, before we do go getting into this, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can buy me coffee. And of course, I'm going to need something stronger after this. I think you will as well, especially if in the Netherlands. Yeah, like I say, there is the YouTube thank you button, and of course, there is the Pony Club down below as well. So let's get into this being reported in The Guardian. Yeah, Boris Johnson considered raid on vaccine plan in the Netherlands. And bear in mind, I want to seriously say this. If this had actually been carried out, which it didn't, thankfully, but if this had been actually carried out, this would have been considered an act of war. Just what? Just what on earth? What on earth was he even thinking on this? Oh, but let's get into this. So, Boris Johnson's appearance before the COVID-19 inquiry is not until Wednesday, but it is already making headlines in the Netherlands amid a mixture of amusement and alarm. It claims that he asked British spies to plan a raid on a Dutch vaccine plant. The operation, according to those sources who have briefed Johnson's employer, the Daily Mail, would have taken place against the backdrop of the tit-for-tat row back in March of 2021 between the then Prime Minister and the EU, which was moving towards restricting exports of vaccines across the channel. In a raid, Johnson asked security services to draw up military options. Why on earth did he even think that this was a good idea? Just what's he gonna do? Is he gonna get like revenge for like the what is it, the raid on London that the Dutch did? Are we finally going to go back and seize the King Charles? this this is just sheer madness that he wanted military options, and it gets even worse. So he was to draw up military options to obtain the impounded doses of AstraZeneca vaccines from a plant in Leiden after Britain had negotiated a deal with the company. Well, these, again, were not impounded. They never were because, like I say, after all, we ended up getting those vaccines. But while British security services were spared from their biggest debacle on Dutch soil since Operation Market Garden, the claims were widely reported in the front pages of the Netherlands. And elsewhere, Russian state media generated a pro-faced report on these claims, interspacing clips of Johnson with footage of British special forces and overlaying them with a sinister backing track. So not only have you damaged UK Netherlands relations, thank you very much for that, Johnson. You also have given Russian state media a PR field day, because if you've been following any of the hilarious propaganda the Russians have been putting out, one of the things that they put out was that Johnson led a commando style raid. And I am not making that up. That is something that the Russian state media actually put out, that Boris Johnson led a military style raid. So, you've given them that PR wonderfulness for them to use, but there you go. The Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs confirmed that it was aware of the report but declined to comment. Johnson is expected to refer to this episode, potentially in a written statement accompanying his evidence to the inquiry, which will take place over the course of Wednesday and Thursday. Oh, joy. That's fun. That's fun. That's fun indeed. But the rest of the story goes on to talk about what Johnson's plan is for going into Wednesday, Thursday, that he's going to, as we say, be a bit more conciliatory and, put forward helpful suggestions and try and refute all the stuff that we've heard from the past couple of weeks about just how bad it really was. Well, if the past, so we say, select committee inquiry is to go by anything, Johnson is probably going to get eaten alive. The guy who's been leading the committee questioning on this has been incredibly good. He shredded Matt Hancock quite thoroughly when there was inconsistencies, shall we say, in his stories, and of course, I expect probably the same to happen to Boris on Wednesday and Thursday when all this comes out. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing. That's going to be an incredibly interesting thing when this comes up in the inquiry. Why on earth? Why on earth would you even suggest doing such a thing as to have military operations drawn up? Because again, I want to remind you, if Johnson had ordered this, and bear in mind he is the prime minister, if he had done this, given the chain of command, I hopefully, I hopefully that Ben Wallace would have said, "Hey, what on earth are you doing?" and probably stopped him. I would have hoped that there maybe would have been functions in there to stop him from ordering or carrying out this. But yeah, I'm incredibly shocked by this. I'm not surprised. This has flown under, to be honest, a lot of people's radars, which has kind of shocked me, because when you've got a British Prime Minister who is prepared to commit an act of war to try and secure vaccines because he was embroiled in what he saw as a personal tit for tat to try and boost the that, oh, Brexit was going brilliantly, and this is why, quote, we Brexited. Um, yeah, doesn't really speak to good, shall we say, foreign policy relations. Um, just, yeah, honestly, unbelievable. Genuinely unbelievable. I can't believe this. But honestly, nothing surprises me. I say, well, I say nothing surprises me, but this did. This did, because I did not suspect that Boris Johnson was prepared to go to the war for the Netherlands to quote get Brexit done in a way. um, yeah, fun times. Fun times indeed. But there you go, as always. So thank you very much for watching. And of course, as always, thank you very much for watching. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.